Alright, so we're here. We didn't get the lighter yet or anything, so I can't burn this. We still can't do anything with the stalk of the rose. I can go down. And so, I have the pink key. Could I just go straight away? Yeah. So we're going here. And Mary, in this instance, is still alive. So when we get down here, I think we're at the reception kind of desk. So let's just... We'll just save. I'll do 12, why not? Okay, so let's go back to the painting. And I assume then we'll have the option of either jumping into it or staying with Mary. So let's see. Kind of surprised we haven't just run into her yet, you know? Would it be the same thing? Yeah, so I think I could just step away. I have to check, is that just going to be the same thing as with the last time where it's just Ebe all alone? It looks like it. It looks like it's just Ebe all alone again. Ebe all alone. Alright. That's fine. That's fine. It wasted a little bit of time, but we saved right at the desk, so we can kind of just jump right back in. Not a huge deal. This time, we'll actually try to leap into the painting. I assume that Mary herself will come in to kind of intercept us. So let's see about that. Okay, frame is gone. Come on, hurry up. What? Mary, you were too late! Mary, I just slept in! Mary? You didn't even try to stop me! You can't remember what you were doing? Okay, so this is the Hangman. It's not Gary's painting anymore. Oh. Wait, what? Hey, Mommy, what's for dinner tonight? Come now, Mary, talking about dinner already? Well, it's 'cause I'm hungry. I almost said happy. Ah. Oh, look, yeah. Welcome back. Hey, I found Ebe. My word, Ebe, where did you get to? Your mother wanted to go see the exhibits with you. Hey, it's alright. Maybe Ebe just wanted to see the exhibits by herself in peace. Yeah, that's it, huh, Ebe? Well, in any case, we should get going soon. Mary's feeling hungry already, it would seem. Yeah, and your mother's feeling a bit parched. Let's see if we can find a cafe. Yay, cafe, cafe. Ebe, hear that? A cafe? I can't wait to see what they have. Okay, let's go. Yeah. The Gartena exhibition was quite something. Yep, and I bet Ebe and Mary learned a lot from it too, huh? Yeah, it was the best, right, Ebe? There's some candy in your pocket. Ooh, candy, gimme! No, you can't. She just took Gary's. You wench. Hey, Ebe, what do you want to play when we get home? Ooh, I'm getting excited just thinking about it. Promise me from now on, we'll always be together, Ebe. Gotcha. You know what? Look, we got a picture with this one, though, too, yeah. So, first, a confession. I didn't realize when playing through this that Mary was a young girl. I thought she was, like, Gary's age. Yep. I thought that she was, you know, another mature young woman, who just was not mature. You know what I mean? Like, I just thought that she was ditzy and kind of, I thought part of that was the psychosis, you know? I thought she was just kind of crazy because she was a painting who wanted to be real and all that sort of thing. I didn't realize that she was a little girl. So this is a surprise to see. I mean, I only really gathered that once Mary was, like, passing off as their daughter. Like, am I still their daughter in this? It doesn't seem like I'm their daughter in this world. It seems like Mary took my place, and that my parents think that I have a different family. And do I have a different family? I don't know, but here we get to see again where we actually did affect the real world somehow, which is interesting because I just didn't think that that was going to be the case. I was already questioning it with Gary's, but this one is even like more intense because not only is it altering a painting, which I could see because the paintings themselves were the things that were unique and changing and like sentient, you know? But being able to change someone's memories in the living world, that's different. That is weird. But yeah, so wasn't expecting any of that, and and that's how we get this. I did see that the name of this ending was Together Forever when I was looking up how to get the endings. But I didn't I thought that meant that I would stay in the painting with Mary forever, and that we would, like, play with the creepy dolls and all that, and that, that would be our new world, together forever, because I'm pretty sure in the game I would read things and it would be like, I want you to stay forever. Like, yeah, there was, pretty sure in the safe room, actually, when we were with Gary, he gives us his coat. Pretty sure there was a sign you could read that had rules of the gallery, and the last rule was like, no leaving ever. And so I thought that's what that ending would be, but nope. We're in the real world, and I have a sister and or best friend who is a little crazy, maybe. I mean, like, the issue is, I still can't say necessarily that Mary is bad. Dang it, I do want... If I hit no, is it just gonna take me to the main menu again, or is it gonna... I don't remember. I don't remember whether it takes me to the main menu. It doesn't, does it? So not only did I not save that ending, but now I still have to go through and die. Alright, but to wrap that up, my thoughts I mean on that ending in particular and stuff similar. I still don't think that Mary's necessarily a bad person. Especially now that I know she's a kid, Not only is she a painting, but she's a kid. So, like, when she was tearing off the petals to Gary's rose, I still think that it did have malicious intent, but not in the same way as before. Like, Mary still should have known that that was Gary's life, essentially. But... just as a kid, I don't know. Maybe she just didn't weigh the severity of that, necessarily. It's weird. I don't know. It's hard to say. But I think most of all, even if she did have ill intent, I think it can be agreed that she just was lonely and scared and wanted to actually live, to have an actual life. And that doesn't excuse her actions. But it does make her more sympathetic. So, I don't know, just stuff to think about, I guess. But anyway, I'm gonna reach the point where we die. I want to go back and check to see what happens if I don't slap Gary twice. And then after that, I just have, like, one other ending, that I want to get. The good ending. I think that's all I have in mind right now, so. This shouldn't be too much longer. Anyway, I'll see you guys when I get to Gary talking to the bunnies. Alright, so we're grabbing the key from this rainbow room now. And with that key, we can go open this door again. We can head downstairs. And we'll hear Gary talking to himself. So this time, we have to slap him once, because Eve just does that. But then aside from that, we're gonna call out his name. I want to see what happens, if that changes anything. If it doesn't... Whoops. Yeah, go in. If it doesn't immediately change anything, then I'll leave it be. I won't, continue playing on this save file. I'll just find a place to die and then reload something else. Wait, can I just leave now? No, you have to keep talking to Gary. Okay. So we'll just skip through this. It looks like it's all the same stuff. So I walk around, and then Did I kneel first? What did I... Yeah. It looks like we just punch him in the face. But I'm pretty sure we're slapping him. Call his name this time. Ebe? Huh? Ebe, why are you here? No way. I don't really know what's going on, but... What were we doing? Aww, we're hugging, that's what. Okay. So it looks like from here, things are the same. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to assume so. So now my plan is just to get the good ending, so I'm gonna go to where I die. And then load a save file up. So this will be the moment of truth, basically. So I'm gonna be burning these. And how I think we determine whether or not we get the good ending, is what happens after we burn this painting. So let's just skip through this text really quick. Mary's gonna come up, be all angry at us. Yeah, less angry, I want to say, and more scared. Because she knows that we could potentially kill her here, you know? And, by the way, with the speed that she's charging at us, how do we really pull out a lighter, start it, and burn a painting, even with glass and everything, before she gets to us and stabs us? Doesn't make sense. But, she'll burn up here. And now for the real moment of truth, let's see what happens. I have to say, girls sure can be scary. Well, anyway, it burned up a lot more violently than I expected. Are you okay, Ebe? The glass shattered after all. Okay, we got it. My hand? Oh, you're right. I cut it. We didn't get this dialogue when I played through the first time. I didn't even notice. It must have just happened. Well, it's just minor. Give handkerchief. A handkerchief. May I use it? Isn't this real lace? Well, I don't particularly want to tarnish this. Too late, unfortunately. Oh well, I'll borrow this anyway. Thanks, Ebe. Well, let's get going. Okay, so from this point, I don't think there's anything that's gonna get in the way. But just in case, let's save over bloody 14, why not? Why not? But I think that all that I have to do is get to the painting and then jump through it again. I don't know if we're still gonna have a fake mother thing, or if anything else is gonna try to stop us from going into the painting. But we'll see. I am inclined to say that there'll be a fake mother. I think it'll still give us an option to not go in if for some reason we wanted to, or just to throw us off from the good ending one last time. But let's see. Okay, so the frame goes away. Gary jumps in. I mean, so far, yeah, it's doing the same scene as when the mother appears. Yeah, there she is. Okay, so I'm not spamming because I don't want to press the wrong button. I don't know which option appears first. I know they first shout together, yeah. So go grab Gary's hand. Now this should be the good ending. Should being the key word there. Can't remember what you were doing. That's not a great sign. So now to test this, I think I need to find Gary. And I think he's at the rose. Let's see. What is it, little lady? What? Wait, he said my name! He said my name! Wait, what? Who's Ebe? What? That's your name? Your name's really Ebe? That's the strangest thing. I mean, I don't know you at all. It just kind of came out. How odd. But, actually, have we perhaps met somewhere before? Yes, have you met this 9-year-old girl before, Gary? Where would you meet her? My, look at me asking you such strange things. Never mind what I said. Well, bye. Bye, Gary. Hmm? What's this? A handkerchief? When did I get this? Yes! Good ending! Ah, this is yours? My word, it's true. Ebe. Your name's right on it. But why is it in my pocket? Plus, there's blood on it. You remember! I was wounded on the hand, and a girl gave me her handkerchief. That's right. Yes, this handkerchief was given to me as a gift. A gift from Ebe. That's me! Ebe! I remember now. We were together back there. How could I have forgotten? It was so important. We stuck together through that bizarre gallery, chased by strange statues, and Mary too, right? Ebe, do you remember? I hope I do. Oh, thank goodness. It's hard to believe even now, but it must have happened, right? Ebe, we got back safely. We did it! There's so much more I want to talk about, but I've got to get going. Ebe, is it alright if I keep this handkerchief a while longer? It wouldn't do to return it as it is. I'll have to make it clean and then give it back. So he intends to see us again, because we will see each other again. Hopefully the parents don't mind this adult being like, hey, can I hang out with your 9-year-old daughter? Ebe. Alright, so this is, this looks like a credit. Yeah, this is the first time then that we got a credit sequence, so it must be the good ending, the true ending, the best ending. I mean, unless you like darker things, then I guess you could have your own best ending, but this is the last ending that I plan on getting. So now just to talk about this game as a whole. So first I'll start by saying that I like it. It's not my favorite game. I think that I prefer Witch's House and Mad Father more than this, but I did certainly enjoy this game. And to be fair too, I played Witch's House and Mad Father quite a while ago on my other channel, Riz Reacts. You can check the playlist there. It might be bunched under horror games if you want to find them and watch them, but actually, I've been including the link to Witch's House playlist in my descriptions of these Eve videos, and Mad Father, I believe, was the game right before Witch's House. I'm not sure, but it's right by it at least. So if you want to go check that out, feel free. Yeah, so I think I like those better, but it's been a long time, so I could just be misremembering. But I did enjoy this game. It was very bizarre. I think that I have to say, though, it wasn't all that scary. There were certainly times where I jumped or where I was tense, but, like, I jumped from little jump scare moments. Look, we got a picture, too. Promise of reunion. Oh, that's nice. They look so happy. That's cool. Yeah, this is my favorite ending for sure. Yeah, I was saying, yeah. I jumped during, like, jump scare parts, you know, whenever there was a sudden splat or a thing or whatever, and I was tense during other moments. And I found things, like, creepy and unsettling, but, like, the tension was more fear of what's to come. It was that anxiety, that uneasy anticipation, you know, waiting for something to happen. Like, when the creepy doll was coming out of the portrait while Gary was frantically looking for the key, that was a tense moment for sure. But actually having gotten caught, you know, played through the ending where Gary actually doesn't get the key in time, it wasn't actually scary. Like, it ended really blandly, in my opinion. You know, it like faded to red and then to black or whatever. That wasn't scary to me, you know? Like, I was anticipating like a scream or something, or I don't know. And of course, you know, being chased by things, it's not like pleasant necessarily, but not because I'm scared of the thing in question, but just because I don't want to die and get a game over, you know? Like, that's what this was. So, the game wasn't really, I can't really say that the game was all that scary, for me. Because it's important to consider the fact that different people just have different things that bother them, different things that make them uncomfortable. You know, for me, like, you know, deep bodies of water, those make me uncomfortable. I wouldn't say I have a phobia, but I just don't really like them, you know? Where there's, like, the fear of drowning, the fear of, you know, like, what could be lurking beneath the surface. You know, like sharks and giant unknown stuff. You know, all this bad stuff. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it. Whereas for other people, maybe the whole childish nature of things really gets to them. But like the last act I want to say of this game, I know it's not separated, but like the last part of this game when you're in the sketchbook, like none of that really bothered me, you know? It was weird, it caught me off guard, but it wasn't unsettling. Like that in and of itself. There were some moments, but like, as an example, to kind of better illustrate my point, let's actually press this so I get some music at the beginning. Let's look at, like, Carrie Careless, or Careless, whatever. That little storybook, right? Where she ate the key and so her friend, like, cut her stomach open, presumably. That was dark. I thought it was then, and I say it is now, but I would say that it wasn't dark because of, like, it wasn't dark or unsettling because of the storybook nature of it, the way that it was drawn or presented. It was dark in spite of that. You know what I mean? Like, it was the content of it that was disturbing. It wasn't how the content was presented to us. And so, in that manner, like, it softened the blow, really. You know, and in the same way of, like, when I'm going through the gallery and I see people hanging by their ankles from the roof, or, you know, in the sketchbook we saw some of that too. Like, that was really softened by the fact that they were dolls. If they were actual people, that would have been a lot more disturbing to me. But the fact that they were dolls, the fact that, you know, like, it was all done in crayon or whatever in those parts, that served to make it, like, easier to digest, I guess you'd say, for me. Again, other people totally could have been really unsettled by the fact that they were mixing something so dark with something seemingly so innocent and childish. But to me, yeah, that didn't really bother me. It was just like, well, this is different, you know? Not to say that it wasn't interesting, just to say that it didn't serve to scare me anymore, but I feel it actually had the opposite effect where it scared me less because of that childlike presentation. So it was an interesting sort of... Well, it was an interesting way, I feel, of them approaching it. But then, you know, just now at this point, now that I've had some time after the game to think it all over, to just kind of analyze what it did to me or for me, compared to like what I've seen some people talk about in the comments at this point. Yeah, so to me, yeah, the game wasn't really scary, but it was certainly tense and unsettling at some moments. But now that I know like what's gonna happen, even if I do fail things like the big doll hunt for the key sort of scene, it's not scary like at all anymore. Whereas if I went back and I played like Outlast or Amnesia, I'm sure there would still be things that scared me. I mean, like, I say I'm sure, maybe not. Maybe it is just because I've already played through this game, like Eve. I've played through it like 4 times now to try to get, I don't remember how many times, but a number of times to try to get the different endings. And that's part of the reason why I don't want to try to get the rest of them, just because I don't think I could get any from the save files I have right now, so I'd have to play through it again. I know it's a pretty short game, especially when you know the puzzles and you can just breeze through it, but it's still stuff that I would have to do, and I don't want to have to do it. So overall, I like the fact that this game does have different endings. It fleshes out the characters a little bit more, it fleshes out the story overall a little bit more, and some of the ways you get the different endings make sense. But the biggest issue that I have with the whole thing is actually in getting the good ending, because I specifically, when I played through the save file to try to get the good ending, I was very careful to do everything the same except for 2 things. And those 2 things were talking to Gary multiple times in the safe room where, again, he gives you his coat, and talking to Gary in the sunlight in the sketchbook, you know, before going into that room where you have to press the switches in a certain order. I talked to him in those 2 areas, because again, I looked up guides on how to get the endings. I didn't just flail about until I found them. I just didn't read what the endings actually were, or what happened in them. That was the thing. And so, one of the tips for getting the good ending was talk to Gary like 6 to 7 times, or at least 6 to 7 times in the safe house, and then at least 6 to 7 times in the sunlight. And so, I don't like that, because that was the one thing that set me apart from getting the good ending. Like, I like to think that if I had been presented the option to give Gary the handkerchief during my first playthrough, that I would have. I like to think that if I had been given all the options, I would have actually gotten the good ending. But unfortunately, I wasn't given those options. Why? Because I apparently didn't bond with Gary enough. But I just feel like it seems too arbitrary to me. There was nothing telling me that I had to talk to him. Like, in the safe room, I thought that I could talk to him if I just wanted to get a little bit more backstory, if I wanted to stall a little bit before leaving, you know, and progressing with the game. But I didn't feel the need to. I still talked to him like 3 times, I think. But I just thought it was dialogue, you know, some filler to give you something to do, and then you could move on. I didn't realize that it was necessary in order to get the true ending, and so I think that that was dumb. I think that that was poorly handled. Same thing with the sunlight. You know, like before, basically, when you're given options in this game, when you're interacting with things, there's like one correct choice, right? Like when I go to the lake in the sketchbook, I can either like feel the water, which does nothing. I could stare into the water, at which point Gary just kind of questions whether or not you're okay. I could dip my rose, which hurts me, or I could fill the bucket. Filling the bucket is the only correct option. 2 of them do nothing, and then you move on, and 1 of them hurts you. So you just need to fill the bucket. And the sunlight only appears once you find the small mirror, the little mirror. And so once I went to the sunlight with the mirror, I'm like, perfect, I understand what the puzzle is. I'm going to solve it right away. So I put the mirror down. I was done with it. I didn't stand in the sunlight. I didn't talk to Gary because I didn't have to, and I assumed that it wouldn't do anything. But it did. It did do something. And that's where I have an issue with how you get that ending, is it didn't make sense. I felt it was too specific. Like, if you really want talking to Gary like that to affect, you know, to stop your players from getting the best ending, I feel you have to better promote or encourage the player to actually talk to Gary whenever the option comes up. Because I just felt it wasn't pushed strongly enough for me to understand that that was anything I needed to do. So to me, when I looked up the tips, it was like, oh, I need to talk to Gary 13 to 14 times in random places in order to get the good ending. And I don't think that's how the players should walk away feeling. You know, when I learned about that, I was annoyed because everything else I did correctly. It was the same kind of thing in Ace Academy when I was trying to romance Cowdy, and I made one wrong decision, even though I didn't think it was necessarily wrong. Like, I picked it for a certain reason, following specific logic, but because of that, I ruined the entire relationship, you know? That one choice. It's the same kind of thing here, where it's like, well, how was I supposed to know? How was I supposed to know that that one thing would stop me from getting the ending that I wanted? So that was unfortunate. Another thing that I don't necessarily like, but I understand, like I like a lot better, but I don't necessarily like it. I'll say that I don't like it, I don't dislike it. How about that? Is how a lot of these endings can be affected pretty early on. You know, like, it's not just a last-minute decision, but like, if you want all the endings, you have to play through the game multiple times. You know, you can't just load a save file like halfway through or right at the end and make a different decision and then you get all the different endings. And so, like, I appreciate it more just because those endings tended to make more sense. Like, I could see how decisions like whether or not you let Gary kick the mannequin head or kick the doll, I can see how those would matter. I can see how failing the doll room and not finding the key in time, I see how that would matter. But it does kind of suck that you would have to just go all the way back through the game. Again, credit where it's due, the game is fairly short, and I think that was intentional a little bit in order to make it easier to get those different endings. You know, they told the story they wanted to tell, and yeah, but still kind of sucked just because so much of the story, so much of the game is still the same, and you just have to, like, trudge through it all over and over again, with very few things actually ending up being different. You know, usually just the ending being different. I appreciated, like, when you failed the doll room a little bit more, just because, like, that led to a different scene, and then that led to a slightly different scene when, you confronted Mary about being fake, basically. Even though it was weird just because she happened to drop her rose, and that was the best way, I guess, they could come up with Gary remembering that she was fake. It was kind of forced, but oh well. And then, you know, the scene in the toy box being different, that was nice, but it's still pretty spaced out. And I feel like that was the most different, the most unique ending. So, I don't know. A little unfortunate there. But, but I do think that the endings do, I mean, they definitely add to replayability. I just kind of wish that I didn't have to replay the entire thing so many times to get all the different endings, because, you know, I would be curious to see, like, the different dialogue options and everything, and, you know, if there were different pictures. I don't think there are any more, but, yeah. To wrap this up, because nothing else pressing is coming to mind, I just want to say that Gary is the best character in this game. I really appreciate him as a dude. He was so nice to Eve and so caring and protective. And again, the fact that he, like, so willingly gave himself up for us, that when he knew he was dying, you know, he told us to go on ahead because he didn't want us to have to see it. How he pulled out his lighter. I'm pretty sure he pulled out his lighter because when we found him sleeping, which I still don't think he was sleeping, you know? He was holding his lighter. I think he pulled it out knowing that we might need it and might come back for, you know? Like, all that kind of stuff. How he was, like, he tried so hard to help us get through the painting, you know, like, when Fake Mother appeared, you know, he's really trying to get us to come back with him. Like, he wants to save us, and I just think that the relationship between Ebe and Gary is really cool. Even when you're playing as Ebe and you're, like, you're increasing Gary's doom counter, as I believe, like, the wiki put it, like, Gary's still really nice to you, you know? He still seems to really care about you, even if you don't say anything when, like, he asks if you're okay in the toy box, or when the lights go out in that other room, with the separation or whatever. He was just a really nice guy, and so I just appreciated him as a character, and wanted to take that time to say that. So this is the end of my Ebe playthrough. I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, etc., so on and so forth. And let me know what you would like to see me play in the future. I'm not guaranteeing, of course, that I'll play whatever is suggested, but it certainly does help me to know what games you guys would like to see, especially if they are free and or cheap, or I already have them, because money's limited, hey. But I do appreciate feedback, you know, both on, like, what I could do for the future and, you know, what you enjoyed in particular, in my playthroughs. So, thank you guys again for watching, and with that, we're calling it here. Cue outro, go!